Today is July 26th, and welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on Claibs Online, presented by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. As I'm joined by Bob Ramsey, I'm Joe Roderick, up in America's hat, up in Canada, Rammer. And look at this, I have props. Lay's ketchup chips.
I'm stunned disbelief.
They have they have ketchup flavored in every kind of chip you can imagine. Pringles, Doritos, Ruffles, everything.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do they have barbecue chips?
I believe I saw barbecue chips down there, yes.
So the Canadians have out-chipped the Americans.
Yeah, I haven't had one yet. Should I do one live right here on the show? Should I take a bite of one on right here on Claibs Online and see
live television? It's always exciting.
That's ketchup right there. I mean, that's like dipping a fry and scooping it in there.
Well, live TV, we're breaking news. It's unbelievable.
Good Lord, having a 9-year-old that puts ketchup on literally anything, I have a feeling that I might be declaring a few bags of those coming through customs on Thursday.
There you go. Oh, you'll be a hero.
Yeah, I would. All right, Ramber. Hey, we got baseball today, and the Cardinals, the big story is that they're going to be without their two best players, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. We have talked about this since Sunday. We're 48 hours removed from it. Everybody has made their opinions about it, well known on both sides of it. Fact of the matter is, they have 2 games to play up here. 2 games, and then when they go to D.C. this weekend, they get them back.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you got to circumstances over the last few years have affected so many teams in so many different ways. We're at the point where you just got to roll with what you got, and not you can't hang your head and do the woe is me stuff. And the Cardinals aren't that kind of organization anyway. So go out and play and see what happens. You know, if it was a 20-game stretch, you might go woe is me. You might say, forget it, we're finished. 2 games, you're 5 games over 500. Give it your best shot, and then just keep playing. You get into the dog days of August.
Yeah, the lineup that the Cardinals will go with tonight looks like this. Tommy Edman leads off and plays short. Dylan Carlson is in center field. Tyler O'Neill, the Canadian, he is in left. Albert Pujols at first. Brendan Donovan at third. Nolan Gorman at second. Corey Dickerson is DHing. Lars Nootbaar in right, and Andrew Knizner is behind the plate. Remember, the Cardinals also without Austin Romine. So Ivan Herrera has been called up for the games this week. For the Blue Jays.
Before you go to the Blue Jays, just a Cardinal comment. With Edman, in my view, struggling a little bit, I think I'd rather have Donovan leading off and have Tommy down lower. But that's just you just almost pick them out of a hat with this group and just hope for the best. Anyway, go ahead.
Andre Palante on the mound for the Cardinals. For the Blue Jays, Jose Barrios is starting for them. George Springer leads off in center. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is DHing. Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. Bo Bichette at short. Teoscar Hernandez in right. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is in left. Matt Chapman is at third. Santiago Espinal is at second. And Cavan Biggio is at first base tonight for the Blue Jays, a team that we saw here in St. Louis about a month or so ago, maybe a little longer ago than that. But when they came in here, they were a team that was struggling to kind of find their way. And since then, a change in manager and a team that is still in the playoff mix in the American League.
Yeah, some of the guys are living up to what they're supposed to be doing. Biggio has gotten hot since he had been demoted and came back. But the guy that's the surprise, I think, for us not following Toronto on a daily basis is Kirk. He is a really nice piece to that puzzle.
And he's one of those guys, too, that you just, you look at him and he doesn't have the physical appearance of somebody that you would expect to be able to do all of the things that he can on a baseball field. Like more like Jose Altuve type of guy. You look at him, I mean, he's short, he's stocky, and he is the best catcher in the American League right now. So he's a very, very good baseball player and has been what they've needed this year, with Teoscar Hernandez not living up to what they expected from him.
Hernandez, Biggio, Chapman, all three to this point have been below expectation. They've still got over 2 months, and I expect in the next 2 months they'll get their numbers closer to what their career averages are. But the first half, they've all three been disappointing, but the surprise of Kirk has kind of balanced it out a little bit.
I'm excited to go down there tonight and see how well represented the Cardinals are. I can already tell you, at the airport, on the train here to get downtown, and just walking around the downtown Toronto area, lots and lots of Cardinal gear already being worn, and it's a Tuesday. You would never know. I've had to look at my phone multiple times to check and see if it's a Tuesday, with how bustling of a city this is up here in Toronto.
Toronto's like, in the movie business, Toronto fills in for New York in many, many movies. It's a great town. I haven't been there since the late 80s when I was covering the Blues for Channel 11 back-to-back years against Toronto. Fell in love with that city, and I think you're going to really get into it over the next couple of days. I think you'll love it.
I'm going to head over to the CN Tower once we are done with this, and check that out before I go into the Rogers Center and cross another stadium off of the list. This is going to be Andre Palante's first start of the second half. We talk about Alejandro Kirk and how big he has been for the Blue Jays. Not to that extent with Palante, but Palante has been a key piece to the Cardinals this year. Kind of, a Lester or a Happ of last year, where you needed somebody to plug one of the leaks. And Andre Palante has come out, and you kind of know what you're going to get with him each and every start. And so far, he has been a very good starting pitcher that, is a good fourth, fifth guy.
Yeah. What you expect tonight? Can you expect him to throw a shutout? Probably not. You can certainly hope for it. I think these next two games are just going to, be one of those deals where you got to get something special out of somebody maybe that you didn't expect. And maybe it's Palante going 7 innings and being in the game or being ahead. Maybe we'll see if Ali Marmol can kind of be old schools running Redbirds and, push the ball to the opposite field against shifts and play the running game a little more, do whatever it takes to win. I think there is, because of being hamstrung, I think that this could be an interesting series and hopefully not a disaster.
You know what? You say that, but remember, we saw you still. I mean, Tyler O'Neill playing back in Canada. And maybe that's a spark. Maybe that's something that gets him going these 2 days. We saw Albert Pujols, the hot streak he was on before the All-Star break, and came just a matter of feet from hitting another home run in Saturday's game against the Reds. That's still a good 3-4 in your lineup. And we know what everybody else. I mean, when you look at the top 6 of that lineup, when you look at Edman, Carlson, O'Neill, Pujols, Gorman, and Donovan, when you look at those 6, that's a really good 6 guys to have in your starting lineup. Now, if you could add Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt to that, that's one hell of an 8. But if you're just looking at the 6 they have up top, before you get down to Dickerson, Nootbaar, and the catcher, those 6 right there can score you runs in bunches in a game and give you a lead early on.
But I don't think that discounts what I'm saying. I think you better try and play the running game when you can. Edman and Carlson have not been as good hitting left-handed, and Gorman is hitting under 200 since the beginning of June. So, they all have produced. Can they do it the next couple of days without the big boys in the lineup? I'm like you. I'm hopeful. I'm just trying to look at it. If I were the manager, what would I be trying to do to get them to wring the most out of this lineup that I could?
And you could also look at it from this way too. How many times during the season did we look at the Cardinals schedule and go, my God, they have 22 days in a row of games? I mean, how are they going to get through that with all these arms? Right now, they had Monday off. They have Thursday off. Ali Marmol can really adjust the way that he uses that bullpen to where you don't need Pallante to go 7. You can have him go 5, and you can find guys to get those other outs for you. And you can use Helsley and Gallegos both back to back. You should be able to use them back to back, or 1 for 2 innings tonight, 1 for 2 innings tomorrow if you trust them. And then they're both going to be fresh by Friday. Also, should be noted, Johan Oviedo is here in Canada. He and his agent went down to Miami. They got everything figured out. He got up to Toronto last night. So Johan Oviedo also in that bullpen for the Cardinals, something we were unsure about when we were on the show with you on Monday.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a good news. Yeah, you'll probably need everybody on the staff, the bullpen certainly, the next 2 days. The Blue Jays are red hot offensively, so keep our fingers crossed and look for some fun tonight in Toronto. By the way, tell me what happened. Folks, Joe left St. Louis early this morning. You told me you were still soaking wet by the time you checked into the hotel. What the heck happened?
It felt that way. You know how when you travel, how you already feel disgusting when you get somewhere, when you're just in the airport and on planes and public transportation, getting everywhere. Now imagine going through and driving through what many people drove through early this morning. For me, it was at 4:15 this morning when I was trying to drive to the airport and get through. I really was. If it was an hour later, I mean, I already drove through parts of 70 were already closed this morning when I was out there at 5 a.m. Streets were already flooded, and it was a disaster around the airport. So hopefully everybody out there is safe, and any damage is minor to whatever you had. But it was, I just getting through the airport and being there, and then on a small plane, Air Canada plane up here, the smallest plane I've ever been on to get up here. It was quite an adventure coming up here, and hopefully you're down there in St. Louis. I know the rain has stopped, and hopefully a lot of the water has receded.
Yeah, I'm Midtown South, and so the rain, it really was a north-south deal. Up north, really got hammered. Down south, it wasn't bad. So for those who are dealing with issues, flooded cars, flooded basements, all those kind of things, hopefully you can recover nicely, and hopefully a good Cardinal game tonight will help you feel better about your situation.
We'll be back tomorrow, Rammer. I'll give a full update on my thoughts on the Rogers Center. Plus, I'll reveal which if they had poutine fries in a helmet that I was able to buy.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Onto, I don't know what it is either. I haven't had it yet, but I will have some poutine at some point along this on this trip. Rammer, we are brought to you each and every day by Munganast St. Louis Acura and your friends at Royal Banks, the hotel I'm staying in. It used to be an old bank, by the way.
Not Royal Banks. Royal Banks has expanded in the last couple of years, not quite to Toronto, but I wouldn't rule it out because it's at Royal Banks. It's where better service means better banking. If there's one thing we're striving for nationally and internationally, it's better service at Royal Banks of Missouri.
I believe the U.S. to Canadian dollar right now, I think it's 77 cents is what the difference is. 77 cents to $1 Canadian, I think is what I was told up here earlier today. More from Canada tomorrow. He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live here on Claibs Online.
St. Louis Acura has almost 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock with inventory arriving daily and can offer the best trade-in value. While others raise their prices and fees, we choose to earn your repeat and referral business by not taking advantage of the current market situation. We invest in our team, becoming one of St. Louis's top places to work and fastest growing companies. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. Located at Manchester and Mason Roads.